I think she's the greatest player in the game. I think she's one of the greatest players of all time, and we just need to stand down and recognize and pay homage to the greatness that we're witnessing. She's also the reigning two-time defending NBA champion. She's also the reigning two-time defensive player of the year. Exactly why I'm not counting the Las Vegas Aces out. I know they're the 4th seed, but I don't give a damn about the 3 seeds ahead of them. You're gonna have to show me in a playoff series somebody beat A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces.
Who's really the tougher player, A'ja Wilson or Caitlin Clark? One's making wild claims about beating NBA stars, while the other's quietly grinding. But there's a twist you need to hear. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Wilson says the WNBA schedule is harder than the NBA's. That's crazy, right? We're about to break down why this matters and what it means for women's basketball.
I dreaded being in Indiana, not because like the city or nothing. I was just like, I don't want no to pop off. Little girl Fever fan, and she says, can you pass along a message to A'ja for me? Tell her to stay out of Indy or it's gonna pop off. She continued on and said, it's like that feeling of constantly having that guard up, constantly having to just protect yourself and being ready to take the high road.
A'ja Wilson just dropped a bombshell that's got everyone talking. She claimed the WNBA has the toughest schedule in sports. Can you believe that? Let's break it down real quick. The WNBA plays 40 games a season. That's it. Now compare that to the NBA's 82 games. It's not even close. And don't get me started on MLB with their whopping 162 games. Even the NFL, known for its brutal hits, plays 17 games. But hold on, because Wilson wasn't done yet. She thinks she could take on NBA player Josh Hart one-on-one. And not just compete, she's convinced she'd win. Picture this, Wilson and Hart on the court, going head-to-head. Wilson's so confident, she even predicted the score. She said, I feel like the score would be like 8-11 me. That's some serious swagger right there. You can bet NBA fans aren't having it. They're all over social media calling Wilson out. One fan didn't hold back, writing, is she serious? Hart would destroy her. Another one went straight for the stat, saying she needs to stop calling out NBA players and start calling out her own shooting percentage. Ouch! Now let's be clear, Wilson's not just some random player running her mouth. She's a beast on the court. We're talking 2-time WNBA champion, 2-time defensive player of the year, and a 5-time All-Star. Her game is legit, no question about it. But these wild claims, they're making people wonder if Wilson's lost touch with reality. Fans are scratching their heads, trying to figure out where she's coming from. It's one thing to be confident, but this feels like it's on another level. And get this, Wilson had even more to say about the WNBA's popularity. It's so out there, you're not going to believe it when you hear it, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, we need to talk about how these statements are shaking up the basketball world. Because let's face it, when a star player starts making claims this bold, it's going to have some serious ripple effects. You won't believe what Caitlin Clark just did. While everyone's talking about A'ja Wilson's wild claims, Clark's out here making moves without saying a word. Get this, she turned down millions of dollars from a new league called Unrivaled. That's right, a huge payday was on the table and Clark said no. Why? Because she wants to focus on her game.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catching.
That's the kind of dedication that sets her apart. Clark's not out here bragging or making crazy claims. She's letting her game do all the talking, and boy, is it speaking volumes. Check this out. Clark broke the NCAA scoring record, not just for women's basketball, but for everyone. Men's and women's, that's insane.
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the height that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark Kent. superwoman. You see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, fever. Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
She's rewriting the history books before she even steps foot in the WNBA. Fans are going crazy for Clark's humility. One tweet said, "Caitlin Clark just gets it. She knows her worth but doesn't need to flaunt it." Another fan chimed in saying, "She's not just a great player, she's a great role model." It's clear that people are connecting with Clark's down-to-earth attitude. Here's what's really interesting. Clark's bringing in huge crowds. We're talking record-breaking viewership here. She played in the 4 most viewed women's college basketball games of all time.
WNBA Player of the Week. There have only been 40 triple-doubles in the history of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops recorded the first WNBA triple-double during the 1999 season, while Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week. She now has 102 on the season and is 19 away from Diana Taurasi in second place and 26 away from UNESCO of the New York Liberty. She ain't beating Asia Wilson for the MVP, but she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way.
Including 3 of Iowa's final games in the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's the kind of star power that can change the game. But you know what's wild? Clark's not complaining about all this attention. She's not out here making a fuss or demanding special treatment. Unlike some other players we just talked about, Clark's taking it all in stride. She's focused on her game and her team, not on making headlines with outrageous statements. You know what's even crazier? Clark's not even in the WNBA yet, and she's already changing the game.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had over 1.8 million viewers. This is now on an NFL Sunday. They had over 1.8 million viewers, and the rest of the games had around 400,000 viewers. These people are coming in waves to watch one player who has sold out every single arena that she has played in this season. Well, I have not seen the viewership reports for the games last night yet, but I'm sure that it is probably double of what the Indiana Fever game got on Sunday.
Her impact on women's basketball is undeniable. She's drawing bigger crowds, getting more eyes on the sport, and inspiring a whole new generation of players. And she's doing it all without the need for controversy or bold predictions. That's the mark of a true game changer. So here's the deal. We've got 2 stars, 2 totally different approaches. Wilson's out here stirring up controversy, making wild claims about beating NBA players. Meanwhile, Clark's quietly changing the game without saying a word. It's like night and day. Think about it. Wilson's got everyone talking, but is it for the right reasons? Clark, on the other hand, is breaking records and bringing in massive crowds. She played in the 4 most watched women's college basketball games ever.
Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season. In that game, Clark scored her 103-point shot this season, becoming just the 6th woman. My WNBA Player of the Week, surprise, surprise, Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. It's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for League MVP honors.
That's insane. But here's the big question. Whose approach is better for women's basketball? Is it Wilson's bold statements that get people fired up? Or is it Clark's let my game do the talking style? What do you think? Is controversy good for the sport, or does quiet excellence speak louder? Let us know in the comments.